Byron, I don't know about you, but we do a lot of news on this channel. It's what we're known for. But sometimes we have to just sort of talk about the same thing over and over again, and it gets quite boring. I mean, I don't feel like doing this video in particular. You neither. But I think it's important that people know that the president of South Africa has admitted to quite a few things concerning Cadre deployment. So we're going to try to do this with as much enthusiasm as possible, knowing quite well that we are terribly bored of South African news of this nature.
Yeah, so this is, as for those of you who just want a 2 second recap, the DA took the ANC to court because of their policy on cadre deployment. The DA did a whole documentary on this. It was very interesting. This all came about because Zondo basically said that the ANC had used cadre deployment to capture the country. We did a whole article on that. So the whole point of this is, oh, wait, cadre deployment is really bad. So now the president has to respond to it and basically give his defense to cadre deployment, which we've done a whole video on that. So like we've kind of talked about this quite a bit. But in Sado fashion, because Ramon's a lawyer and loves to read these stupid things, he read through the damn documents, and lo and
Yes.
behold, he found a section in it that says, with the president actually writing in his own response, yeah, we kind of did capture we did capture the state, but you know what? We also captured private enterprise. What do you think of that, Ramon?
Yeah, so again, just a few things there. Like I didn't voluntarily read this; it was sent to me. Like I don't spend my time
You
reading.
could have did what I did, mate. Just delete it.
No, no, no. I actually care about my network, Byron. But anyway, so I was sent the affidavit by Cyril to the court in response to the DA's original founding affidavit. I suppose you could call it that. And interestingly, what Cyril says about cadre deployment here is that under 65.4, the policy for cadre deployment applies to senior positions in government, such as director generals and deputy director generals, as well as leadership in critical institutions, including the private sector. Like, what the fuck? Like, shit to
Mm.
house? What the? I thought cadre deployment was just about the state. But now, on under oath, the president of the country is defending the policy of a political party as the president of the country, stating that they also applied it to the private sector. Now, anyone with two brain cells who's not an ANC member would know that that has been the case for a long time. The corporates are heavily invested in the ANC. They fund them. A lot of ANC members go to the corporates once they finish in politics. So it's no real surprise. But to have the president say it under oath in an affidavit without anyone asking to do that, it's a real dumb move.
Yeah. Now, I want to, before we even start on this segment and we dissect this, and I know that Kasatu have had various things to say as well, such as this shows that capitalism is bad. I want to draw a distinction between capitalism and corporatism. In my opinion, corporatism is equivalent to statism. It basically means that a corporate company that's so large it's too big to fail. It's just full of bureaucracy. It's one of those. Capitalism is where you have free movement of people around and they're able to create businesses that compete. In the corporate environments, they don't want competition. So quite often, corporates will side with government in order to create a monopoly. That monopoly means that you can't have an emerging market. You can't actually have full unabridged capitalism. The way that government might do that is by introducing various regulations. They put licensing requirements. They make you spend a lot of money on compliance teams and auditors, things that your average small business can't actually afford to do. So I want to start off with that distinction. So when we talk about corporates, we're referring to the too large to fail, the ones that generally side with governments in order to create monopolies anyway.
Yeah.
And with that being said, is it any surprise that these corporates have been captured by government, given that they quite often work with government, and in turn, government works with them to almost force through various policies that government might like in exchange for, let's say, maybe a monopolistic type positioning. Is that any surprise? I don't think it
No,
is.
not really. No, it really isn't. So it'd be interesting to find out if the president, through his unforced error on the side, if he is able to elucidate where in the private sector cadre deployment was implemented. Because the funny thing is, he says a lot of the bad people during state capture were not actually deployed from the committee. So he says, like the people that, this guy at Transnet
But
was,
by committee, though, we mean him, huh?
yeah, of course,
Let's just be clear on that. And when we talked
100%.
about that, we even
Yes.
said, does this possibly, if this is all deemed illegal, is it Cyril's fault? And now, as you've rightly said there, he's saying might not have actually come from my committee.
Yeah.
So
But
it's his way of kind of trying to avoid responsibility.
But interestingly, we don't have the minutes of the meetings when Cyril was chairperson of the deployment committee. They just were never taken at the time, Byron. Can you imagine an organization of 100 years old not understanding what minutes are? There are minutes just as he left as chairperson of the deployment committee, but the minutes when he was chairperson, they just weren't taken, who knows why? So we can't actually state for certain whether his assertions in his affidavit are true. That all these people that went to Transnet, or all these people that went to Eskom, or all these people that went to PRASA, or even Tom Moyane, the former SARS commissioner, he says, no, they were never deployed by the committee. It's like, yes, doofus, but we don't actually know that because you don't have minutes of the meetings when these positions were sort of negotiated. It's a very sneaky move, old Cyril. Very sneaky.
I'm so bored of this topic because
Me
it's
too.
kind of like, and the reason why is you look at certain policies that have gone on. Let's just pick on some. NHR. We had some stooge head coming out of Discovery. We all know who that is because we did a video on it. But some stooge head coming out of Discovery going, oh, maybe NHR isn't that bad an idea. Don't know, mate. Are you maybe captured, ideologically captured? It's like, no, I can't be because I'm the private sector. Well, now we know that that's bullshit. But it's like, do we go, oh, Ramon, I didn't know? Or do we just go, oh, okay. Like we knew it anyway, and you took us for an idiot by trying to deny the obvious.
Yeah. It's a bit
You
like
know,
CNN, right? So they got just new buyers now. They bought the CNN, and now they're saying it's our mission to become objective, fact based reporting, as we always have been. It's like, what?
well, how can you become what you always were?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, are you saying the quiet part out loud?
Very much
And
so.
I'm glad you mentioned CNN because then it comes through to like News 24. We've been saying for ages, like News 24 just seems to be a mouthpiece for the ANC. Freak, one of their damn opinion artists happens to be a former ANC diplomat. Like, now are we going to say, is News 24 captured? Have they been captured by Cadre deployment? Like, if it turned out that they would we be like, oh,
Oh,
Ramon, that's
what a
shocking. We never saw that happening. Yeah, whatever.
you play the
Like,
sarcastic British guy very well, Byron. Just by the way, I think you come back to Kabuki land where you're less sarcastic. Must be the weather,
but you know what I mean? It's like,
of course.
come on, man. Like, I know these people think we're idiots, but I mean, are we that stupid? Like, come on, man. Like, so when Cyril says the quiet part out loud, you're like, yeah, like nobody knew
Yeah,
that.
it's like
This
no.
is such a shocking revelation.
Yeah, it's like no shit,
Or whatever.
Sherlock. It's like when News 24 says, "Oh, the effects of the lockdown might have been worse than the effects of the virus itself." Like, oh my, I would never have considered that, other than any
I
single
wonder who
point in the
might have said
lockdown.
that. And I wonder if there was actually possibly a world powerful president who actually said something along the lines of, it's possible that the remedy for this virus might be worse than the actual virus itself.
Mm.
I don't know who might have said that.
Well,
Maybe some crazy far right white supremacist in America.
we can't know anymore because all the people that said that at the time have been like sort of cancelled from social media. So there you go.
Mm.
So the only solution really is for News 24 to be cancelled now from social media for misinformation.
And then, it's funny because, like, in the same day that they're talking about possibly the private sectors being captured, there quietly came out a news article that apparently Discovery's partnered with BlackRock. BlackRock, the same guys whose senior leadership sits on the World Economic Forum's board, the same guys who are buying up private homes in the US and renting them out to people. The same guys that are kind of like part and parcel of you'll own nothing and be happy type people. And amazingly, apparently they've partnered with Discovery for reasons. And it's like, yeah, yeah, that's not captured at all. But I know that by even suggesting that, that makes us far right extremist conspiracy theorists who are
Yeah.
racist. So,
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, just living in South Africa as a
until we
white
get kept.
person is that. So nothing new to us. But yes, Discovery have created a offshore investment vehicle in partnership with BlackRock. It's like, oh, BlackRock, the company that wants us to go back to the days of the Indian reservations and the mining houses where a company
Yeah.
owns an entire town and creates a currency just for that town. And you're only allowed to live in that town if you work for them and if you follow the rules of the town. And the rules can be as arbitrary as they would like it to be. That is what's coming to America under the BlackRock flag. And now Discovery is in cahoots with those people to, well, take a share of the pie. Welcome to sort of modern global capitalism.
I wonder if they've been captured by the ANC at all, who maybe even thinks this is a great way for them to continue the patronage network. Nah, that couldn't happen. That would never happen.
Not due to lack of will, but due to lack of competence. I don't think the ANC knows what an international vehicle asset class is, with respect.
Sorry, mate. I've heard Adrian talk, and I'm never going to use the words competence and Adrian in the same sentence, mate. Like, I've heard that guy talk, and he ain't exactly what I'd call the smartest cookie around.
All right, fair enough. But anyway, so that's your Cadre deployment news for the week. We're actually so tired of talking about it. I'm actually considering, and this is might be a bit of a spoiler, like we just changed the channel to talk about whatever the hell we want and not only about news. So let us know in the comments if that's a good idea. Are we entertaining enough on our own basis, or do we have to keep talking about the same shit over and over again for you to watch our videos?
And I just want to highlight that the DA is now nicknaming this whole bombshell. The DA is nicknaming it now country capture, because apparently it's all now become news that the whole country is captured. Guys in the DA, like, for real? Like, did you guys only just learn this? Where have you been for the last 25 years, man? Like, I don't know. I'm done with this topic, man. Like,
Same.
see you later, guys. Like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, as always, buy a gun and drive over people that want to shoot you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.